And now, it's time for Who Smarted. Psst, hey, Smarty Pants, here at Who Smarted, we're always looking for ways to get, well, smarter. That's why we're constantly reading books, watching documentaries, following the news, listening to podcasts, and seeking out anything that challenges our brains. Sometimes, though, when I'm seeking a new idea, I like to go outside and just stare up at the stars. Wow, there are just so many of them. Sometimes I'll pick one out, like that one over there, and make a wish. I wish for me and all the Smarty Pants listening to become smarter.
Smarter? No problem. I can help with that.
Whoa, Smarty Pants, did you hear that? That star can make our wish come true.
I sure can. Only, I'm not a star.
You're not?
Nope. The name's Sally, and I'm what you call a satellite. I'm much closer to Earth than all the stars you see at night. I'm also more useful.
I see. And you say you can make us smarter?
You betcha! From up here, I could.
Hello, look at me!
Anyway, as I was saying...
Hey, don't forget me over here.
Or me.
Seems like you have a lot of company, Sally.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a bit more crowded up here. In fact, I've never seen so many satellites around here before.
Out of the way! Make room for Starlink!
Right, and then there's Starlink and all the military satellites, too.
I'm not here.
Oh, right. They're very secretive.
Wow, with all these satellites, it seems like you could be running out of space in space.
Don't get me started on all the space junk floating around.
Space junk!
So, Smarty Pants, why do we have so many satellites orbiting Earth right now? What exactly do satellites do? And with so many going up, what's the chance of them crashing into each other? Or even worse, crashing down to Earth. It's time for another whiff of science and history on
Who smarted? Who smarted? Who's smart? Is it you? Is it me? Is it science or history? Listen up, everyone. We make smarting lots of fun on Who Smarted.
Hello, Smarty listeners. This message goes out to all the teachers, principals, teachers' assistants, and school librarians. First of all, thank you for all you do as educators. To show our gratitude for all your hard work, long hours, and dedication to teaching, we are now offering free Who Smarted Plus subscriptions for all educators. That's right. You can now play Who Smarted without any ads or interruptions in your classroom to help make learning fun and keep the smarting going during break times, lunch times, or anytime. Who Smarted can even be used to satisfy some Common Core curriculum or as part of assignments or lessons. If you are an educator, just go to whosmarted.com and click Educators. And Smarty Pants and Smarty Parents, please feel free to let your teachers know about this. Again, that's whosmarted.com. Click Educators for free subscriptions to Who Smarted Plus. Let's all get smarted together. Smarty Pants, have you ever been outside and had a bunch of gnats swarm around you? It can drive you crazy! Well, guess what? Our planet is experiencing the same thing. At this moment, there are over 100 million objects circling Earth, and most of them were made by humans. Smarty Pants, what do you call these objects? That's right, they're called satellites. In fact, anything that orbits the Earth is technically a satellite.
Like me.
And me.
And me.
And me.
I'm not here.
But it wasn't always this way, Trusty. Most objects circling the Earth appeared within the last 100 years.
Good point, Sally. Smarty Pants, do you know what Earth's oldest known satellite was named? Was it A, Sputnik, B, Vanguard 1, or C, Luna? The answer is C, Luna, which is the ancient Roman name for the moon.
Yep, the moon is a satellite because it orbits the Earth. The Earth itself is also a satellite of the sun.
Whoa.
Moons and planets are called natural satellites.
But when astronomers and others talk about satellites, they usually mean artificial satellites, as in objects in space made by, you guessed it, people.
But not all space objects made by people are called satellites. There's a ton of stuff up here that was once down there. Think of it. Millions of objects just zipping around doing nothing. We call that stuff space junk.
Space junk!
We'll get to space junk in a little bit. Right now, I want to focus on the working, useful satellites that humans have put into space, like Sally here.
Hey!
Since ancient times, people have wanted to go high up in the sky to get a better understanding and view of the world. And in the 1700s, one famous scientist realized that if you shoot something, like a cannonball, very high up, with just the right amount of force, it would still fall toward Earth thanks to gravity. But because of the Earth's curve and the speed of the object, it would never hit the ground. Can you guess which scientist said this? Was it A, Albert Einstein, B, Nicholas Copernicus, or C, Isaac Newton? The answer is C, Mr. Gravity himself, Sir Isaac Newton.
What goes up must come down, thanks to gravity.
And Newton's theory helped us better understand objects in orbit.
Of course, Newton didn't have the technology back then to test it. The first artificial satellite rocketed to space more than 200 years later in 1957.
Smarty Pants, what country launched the first artificial satellite? Was it A, the Soviet Union, B, the United States, or C, China? While all three countries have launched thousands of satellites since 1957, the first was the former Soviet Union, which is mostly Russia today. Smarty Pants, you heard the name of this satellite earlier in this episode. Do you know what it was called? If you said Sputnik, you're right.
A year later, the United States followed Sputnik with a satellite of its own, called Explorer 1. After that, countries all over the world raced to get their own satellites up into space. And do you know how they do that?
Ooh, I know, with giant slingshots.
No.
Smarty Pants, what do you think? Wait, I heard some of you say it. They use rockets.
Rockets can blast off into space and then turn to orbit Earth at the right height and speed for a satellite. At that point, they release the satellite, where then it stays in orbit for years to come, circling Earth using power from the sun. And once we're in orbit, satellites like me play a little trick on your eyes.
A trick? What kind of trick?
Well, I'm right here in one spot talking to you, but am I standing still?
Oh, what do you think, Smarty Pants?
From the ground, I might look like I'm not moving, but I'm actually zooming faster than the fastest airplane any pilot has ever flown. I zip along at 3 kilometers, or nearly 2 miles a second.
2 miles a second? Wow, that is super fast. I need to start calling you Super Sally.
Hey!
Smarty Pants, at those speeds, how long do you think it takes a satellite to travel all the way around Earth? Is it 90 minutes, 16 hours, or 24 hours?
If you said 24 hours, you're right.
Nice job if you got that, Smarty Pants. But wait a second. 24 hours is equal to what, Smarty Pants? That's right, a full day on Earth.
That's right. I'm moving at the same speed as Earth's rotation, so I can stay above the same spot on Earth all the time.
Ah, and that's how you trick our eyes. It looks like you're not moving when you are.
Yep. But satellites don't do it just to trick you. There's a reason for it. I'm what you call a geostationary satellite. Being in one spot makes it easy for me to send and receive signals to and from Earth using radio waves, which move at the speed of light. Plus, I can reach a large area because I'm so far up. I told you before I can make you smarter because, as a communication satellite, I can transmit images, sound, and videos of events happening all over the world.
And I send information about weather.
And I help businesses operate.
And I capture images of deep space.
I'm still not here.
Yeah, about that military satellite. Can it be used for spying?
We don't talk about that.
Ever since Sputnik, the fear has been that one country will use satellites to see what another country is doing. And that is what some satellites do. Many countries have military satellites, and their missions are top secret. They might be watching and taking pictures of enemy movements or listening in on government communications.
I'm not here.
Oh, come on now. We know you're there. And your technology has changed the world today. Smarty Pants, do you know how? The answer, and more secret satellite stuff, right after this quick break and a word from our sponsors. Hey listeners, want to know one of my favorite sounds? Listen to this. That's the sound of learning a new language with Babbel. I've been using Babbel to brush up on my German, and it's wunderbar how quickly I'm picking up real-life conversation skills. Babbel is the science-backed language learning app that actually works. Their quick 10-minute lessons are designed by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. I can vouch that that is really how fast it is. Plus, Babbel's speech recognition technology has really helped improve my pronunciation. Ja, das ist gut. Here's a special deal for our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/smarted. That's BABBEL.com/smarted. Rules and restrictions may apply. Don't miss this chance to learn a new language with Babbel. This message is sponsored by Greenlight. As a creator of education for kids and families, I'm always looking for fun ways to teach kids life skills, whether those kids are in my family or my Smarty family. That's why I recommend Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, kids learn to save, invest, and spend wisely, while parents can monitor their money habits. The Infinity plan offers even more, including family location sharing, SOS alerts, and crash detection for young drivers. With school starting again, I love the chores feature, which helps kids get into their fall routine by rewarding them for completing household responsibilities. Whether you're teaching financial literacy or ensuring your family's safety, Greenlight is the easy way for parents to raise financially smart kids. Ready to empower your family? Sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/smarted. That's greenlight.com/smarted to try Greenlight for free. Now back to Who's Smarted. Smarty Pants, if you or your adults have ever used a smartphone for directions, you're using a system developed by the US military.
Whoa.
Now, do you have any ideas what that system is called? Is it GPS, UPS, or PBS? The answer is GPS, which stands for Global Positioning System. The military developed it in the 1970s to help soldiers get around. But today, it's free for anyone to use.
Believe it or not, a GPS device like your phone uses signals from 4 or more satellites, plus a little math to determine exactly where on Earth the device is located within seconds. There are so many things that satellites do, it's no wonder.
Starlink coming through.
What was that?
That's Starlink. It's a brand new group of satellites designed to bring the internet hard-to-reach places all over the world.
Oh, that sounds like a good thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's gonna make my neighborhood very crowded. About 5 years ago, there were less than 3,000 working artificial satellites orbiting the Earth. Since then, the Starlink program has launched more than 6,000 satellites. Can you guess how many satellites they plan to have up here?
Smarty Pants, care to take a guess? 8,000? 10,000? 15,000?
Try as many as 42,000. all going much faster than me, circling Earth every 90 minutes.
Hello, Starlink again.
42,000 satellites sounds like a lot of satellites.
It is! Plus, they're very bright. Many astronomers worry these satellites will make it harder to observe stars and planets from Earth.
Not to mention, with so many satellites in orbit, is there a chance they could crash into each other? Or even worse, crash down to Earth?
Well, those are certainly legit concerns. After all, you wouldn't want the International Space Station, which weighs over 925,000 pounds, or about 420 kilograms, to come crashing down on you. Good thing it's high enough in orbit where the pull of gravity is weaker.
Wait, the ISS is a satellite too?
It sure is. In fact, it's the biggest artificial satellite in space currently.
Okay, so satellites are unlikely to crash down on Earth. But what keeps other satellites from crashing into you?
Well, even though there are a lot of satellites up here, space is a pretty big place. You don't hear about too many satellites crashing into each other.
Smarty Pants, how many times have artificial satellites accidentally crashed into each other? A, only once. B, a few times every 10 years. Or C, all the time, we just don't hear about it.
I was never here.
The answer is A. The only known accidental collision happened between an American satellite and a Russian one in 2009.
We don't crash into each other because we're all deliberately placed in orbits that won't hit other satellites. Scientists around the world track us and can control us from the ground, so if we happen to veer off course, they can move us back. The thing we have to worry about is space junk.
Space junk!
Right, and what's the deal with space junk?
Space junk, aka orbital debris, are technically satellites in that they orbit Earth. There are more than 100 million of them, of all sizes. But they don't work, and scientists don't have much control over them. All kinds of things have become space junk. Old dead satellites, pieces of rockets, even tools that astronauts working in space dropped.
Oh, whoops.
The problem is, these things don't just float away. They stay in orbit traveling at thousands of miles or kilometers per hour, way faster than a speeding bullet. As you can imagine, it's pretty dangerous. And with so many more satellites going up into space, the amount of space junk is bound to get way bigger. But scientists are working on ways to clean it up.
And to clean up, they'll need, you guessed it, more satellites.
You got it.
Well, thank you, Sally. You really did make me smarter. Do you love Who Smarted, but don't love all the ads? We get it, but we also need the ads to pay for the show. However, there is a way you can listen to Who Smarted without any ads while still supporting us. Just subscribe to Who Smarted, and for a few bucks a month, you'll get every episode ad-free, plus an extra new episode every week, and monthly bonus content. Our annual subscription even comes with a 7-day free trial. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts or on our website, whosmarted.com. Just click subscribe. And teachers, click on Educators to get Who Smarted Plus for free. Thanks for smarting with us. A special shout out to Deegan in Garden Grove, California, who wrote to say, I love Who Smarted because it helps me learn new things and I get to share what I learn with friends. That's amazing, Deegan. Not only are you smarting with us, you're also smarting it forward. Great job. This episode's Satellites was written by Dave, Deep Space Beaudry, and voiced by Heather Satellite Simsay, Adam Orbits Davis, Kim Deep Space Davis, Max I Spy Kamaski, and Jerry Colbert. Technical direction and sound design by Josh High Frequency Hahn. Our associate producer is Max Kamaski. The theme song is by Brian Sputnik Suarez, with lyrics written and performed by Adam Tex Davis. Who Smarted was created and produced by Adam Tex Davis and Jerry Colbert. This has been an Atomic Entertainment production.